The Hoka Tecton X2 has a refined brand new matrix upper here and promises to be a lightweight propulsive trail racer. But how did it stack up in testing? And is this the carbon-plated trail racing shoe for you? Well, let's find out. But first, I do need to let you know that Hoka did send the Tecton X2 to me to review. I didn't pay for these. They're not going to see this footage ahead of time. They're not going to pay me for this video. I'm going to say the honest truth, just like always. First off, we're going to talk about the stats of the Tecton X2. It is a neutral trail running shoe. And even with those carbon fiber plates inside, which we will talk about, it is still, there's a little bit of flexibility to it. It's, kind of a little bit more than I was expecting based off some other carbon fiber shoes. As for the stack height, the men's shoe is 32 millimeters in the rear, 27 millimeters in the front, and a woman's shoe is 30 millimeters in the rear and 25 millimeters in the front. Both have a 5 millimeter drop. And for the weight, my men's size 11 weighed in at 9.8 ounces or 279 grams. That's a pretty darn good weight of a shoe, especially for a men's size 11 with this much stack height underneath of that midsole foam. That's pretty darn good. And as far as the fit of the Tecton X2, it fits true to size, just like all other Hokas in size 11. This size 11 fit just fine. And I should also note that it is made from vegan and recycled materials. Before we get to the rest of the details, once you scroll down, click the thumbs up button, give the video a like. That would help out the video and my channel a lot, and I would really appreciate it. So now let's talk about the completely re-engineered upper of the Hoka Tecton X2. That's right, this is a brand new upper. This is a matrix upper, which if you're familiar with the Hoka Speedgo EVO or the Evo, that was a matrix upper. This is similar to that, but this seems to be a little bit better. And the original Hoka Tecton X had a jacquard mesh upper, so this is definitely going to be more durable. And I gotta say, this breathes pretty darn well also. So this matrix upper was designed to maximize weight savings, so it is very light, very thin, very breathable, but it's also inherently hydrophobic, and what that means is basically this material naturally repels water, so it kind of acts as a little bit of a barrier to the elements. However, I gotta say, when I was running and testing in these, I did run through some puddles, and my feet definitely got wet. It splashed up onto this shoe, and the sock got pretty wet. But I will say, my foot did dry out pretty quickly though. Speaking of that breathability though, let's take a look at the tissue test. You can see how breathable this is. So I put that hairdryer on low, and that tissue came up quite a lot for being on low with the hairdryer. When I switched it to high, that tissue just about came out of the shoe. This is incredibly breathable. Just seeing through this like I do right now, I can see the light through the shoe. It's probably one of the most breathable shoes that I've ever tested. As for the fit of the Tecton X2, overall it fits really well, hugs that foot nice and securely. I didn't have any issues with hot spots or discomfort in the medial arch. The toe box was plenty adequate, gave actually quite a bit of room, ample room. I could actually move my toes around inside that toe box. As you can see, I did have to lace these pretty tight for my foot shape, so there's definitely plenty of room left in this shoe if somebody with a more voluminous foot shape might need to wear this. At the base of that lacing system is the vamp here, and this is similar to what Hoka did on the Speedgo 5 and the Mafate Speed 4. However, this is the same matrix material, so this is not near as stretchy. It's not really stretchy at all like the Speedgo 5, which in my opinion was way too stretchy. So this is a much better vamp in my opinion. Speaking of that lacing system, these are recycled polyester laces, but I didn't have any issues with the lacing system. I was able to get a nice secure fit over my foot just fine. I didn't have to do the runner's knot at the top at all. I got a good lockdown with those. And these thin flat laces stayed tied just fine. I didn't have any issues with them coming untied. The tongue itself is very, very thin. We'll just say that. It's Hoka's lay flat tongue. If you're familiar with some of those other shoes like the Speedgo 5, it's very similar to that. There is strategically placed padding right along the center here, and some at the top where the laces would go over top of your foot, and it does a fairly good job. I will say though, on my first 20-mile run in the shoe, I did have a hot spot and actually got a little bit of a blister on my right foot, right underneath of this spot on the tongue right here. It's a lay flat tongue, I gotta be honest. I've not yet seen a lay flat tongue that I like, that works well. I've always had issues with them. It's just, I know it's for weight savings and it does help out there, but we just gotta get a little bit more padding up into here and protect the foot for those long runs, because let's face it, this is designed pretty much for ultra marathons to go long, so you gotta have some padding and some comfort to do that. The tongue though is semi-gusseted on both sides to keep it from moving around, and I didn't have any issues with it sliding around in the foot at all. Moving around to the back of the shoe, we have the heel cup area here, and it's pretty well padded. It's not a real thick, plush padded heel cup here, but it does have enough padding to protect your foot, keep it comfortable on those long runs. I did a 20-mile run, a 10-mile run, and another 20-mile run, a total of about 50 51, 52 miles, because some of those were a little bit longer. But yeah, I didn't have any issues with discomfort. It worked just fine. I might have a little concern with the durability of that padding back there if it wears after some more usage. But so far, no issues with heel slippage. Like I said, the lockdown with the laces in combination with that heel cup, the padding, it felt pretty good and comfortable. One thing a little bit different on this that I've not really seen in a shoe before, there's actually some padding on the outside of the shoe. You can see it right here and on this side. I think that's kind of on the other side of the interior bolstering of this padding. Maybe it helps that a little bit. I don't know, but kind of looks a little bit different. But as far as the heel counter, it's, you know, has a little bit of give to it there, so not too stiff. Well, now let's talk about the midsole of the Tecton X2. That's really where this shoe shines. So the midsole is a Profly X construction with an early stage meta rocker and of course the parallel carbon fiber plates. What exactly is that? So the parallel carbon fiber plates are two completely independent plates in the shoe. They do not touch. They are not a fork. It's not one that then splits at the end. It's two completely separate plates. You can see this image here. This is from the original Hoka Tecton X. However, I did confirm with Hoka that it is the exact same parallel carbon fiber plates in the Tecton X2. And these parallel independent carbon fiber plates, I think, are the key to the stability of the Tecton X2 on the trail. It definitely has a lot more flexibility than other carbon fiber plated trail racing shoes that I have used, like the Saucony Endorphin Edge. That I would never take on a trail. It's just, I would stick to the gravel roads. These, I did some single track, I did some gravel roads, both, and I felt plenty stable on those, even with my crazy weak ankle that I'm recovering right now from rolling it. It's just, it felt pretty stable. So if it's a really technical trail, really technical course, you might not want to use these, but for most trails, I think these will be plenty stable and work out really well. So the midsole foam is a Profly X that we talked about. What that is the bottom layer here. That is a firmer, more responsive foam, kind of to help protect your foot, but also protect those carbon fiber plates. And then in between that is the carbon fiber plates. And then on top of the plates is a softer, more cushioned foam for the dual layer, dual density midsole foam. And I gotta say, it felt really nice on the trail and on gravel roads. Like I said, I did one that was about 20 miles solely on like Colorado dirt roads, gravel roads. I had no foot fatigue. It felt really comfortable and nice and had that propulsion. You know, obviously it's not the same as running like a marathon racing shoe, but it had the propulsion and my legs felt that and were very appreciative of it in the late stages of that run. It was nice. So moving on to the outsole of the Hoka Tecton X2, it is Vibrams Mega Grip light-based compound. I really like this light-based compound. I've used it on several shoes now and I have never had any issues with traction. It's actually very, very sticky. And these are 4mm lugs. They're spaced really well, let's just say that. It's a shoe that you can take if you need to on a little bit of pavement, or you can take it to the trail and still have plenty of great grip. I even took these in snow and I had really no issues with traction at all. Actually, the run that I was in, the snow, was another 20-mile run. And in the middle of that, almost in the middle, there was a section of about 4 miles of pavement that I did. And honestly, I had no issues with these at all. The lugs, you could really barely feel them because of the way they're not too aggressive, they're not spaced so far apart. It gives you a good contact patch still with the ground if you're gonna be on that pavement. And it felt fine. So if you've got a race where you're gonna be running a couple miles on the road, or maybe you live somewhere where you're gonna run to a trail, I think this shoe could work fine for that. One thing to note though, obviously you can see on the bottom here is a very large exposed area where it's just that midsole foam. And you can see the big X here, obviously for the X, the two plates. But it is exposed, so you potentially could have some issues there. I didn't. I ran on a lot of rocks. I had no issues with rocks poking through this. I mean, there's a lot of midsole foam in here, so it keeps your foot pretty protected. As for the price of the Tecton X2, it comes in at $225 US. Whew. That's a little steep, gotta be honest with you guys. Is it worth it? I mean, if you have that money, absolutely, totally worth it. They are fantastic shoes. So the bottom line of the Hoka Tecton X shoe, I have really enjoyed. I've got a little over 50 miles in these now. I will definitely be wearing these a lot more. I like them so much, I'm pretty sure I'm gonna wear these for the Leadville Trail Marathon coming up in June. And then depending on how that goes, probably in the Silver Rush 50 miler. And who knows, maybe I might even wear them at Leadville in August. I don't know. It's a great shoe. It felt pretty stable on most terrain, and it's just, it's great. They breathe really well. The comfort is there, is really, really nice. It's lightweight. So yeah, if you want a shoe like that, the shoe might be for you. But I do know that these have just come out pretty recently. So if you've tried them, you know, let us know below in the comments what your thoughts are, any comfort issues you found. I'm sure everybody would be very appreciative to know that. Well, thank you all so much for watching. I do hope you found this helpful. If you did, please give it a thumbs up. It does help out a lot. I would really appreciate that. And maybe why don't you take a look at the Hoka Mafate Speed 4 video. I really think these are the lighter weight cousin to the Mafate Speed 4. They have a little bit more cushion, they're lighter weight, more responsive. It's just, yeah, check it out. I think you might like that video too and those shoes. So anyway, thank you all. Like I said, thank you to Hoka for sending these. I do appreciate that as well. And I'll see you on the next one.